What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. Wow. Getting into this episode of GH. This episode will tug at your heartstrings. It will make you feel all type of emotions. It will make you feel emotions you probably didn't know you had. You know what I mean? Like, that's how emotional this episode was. Like, it's crazy. Let me get some things out the way. First of all, I couldn't imagine being in Terry's shoes, being a doctor, an oncologist. And that's basically what Liz was telling her. Like, you have to deal with this kind of stuff all the time. But, she says this is a rarity. It doesn't always happen. Like Oscar case. A lot of kids with cancer and stuff, they go into remission. They end up living for a long time, a happy, healthy life. So it's not always the same. I couldn't imagine being a doctor in her shoes, having to be the bearer of bad news for a child and their parent, basically saying that, they're not going to make it. I couldn't do that. That would be too much. But this episode, man, this one here, I was hoping for a miracle. A lot of people were hoping for a miracle. We thought we were going to get a miracle. I knew it was too good to be true. When I first seen Oscar, I love the fact that he had that vision of Lila, and she basically put her hand on his chest and he was healed. I knew it had to be a dream. I said, because there's no way he got cured that easily. There's no way, especially after all this suspense and build up to this story. I knew it wasn't going to be that simple. I was hoping so. But it was crazy how, they went to the hospital. The doctor came back and said, the tumor shrunk. It's practically gone. It's benign. He's going to live. Everybody was excited. Jocelyn had to run and go tell Sonny and Carly. Not to be negative or anything, I am a somewhat fan of Sonny and Carly, but why do they have to be a part of everything? I'm just saying. I just felt like this should have been more about Kim, Oscar, Jocelyn, Drew, the Quartermains. I just felt it was more, should have been geared towards that. Sonny and Carly were somewhat not necessary for this, but I digress. I mean, they are the leads on this show, so it's totally understandable. But I just felt like they could have took a back seat to that. But anyway, moving on from that. Everybody was just thrilled, Julian, everybody, so they wanted to throw a party at Charlie's pub. Trina, Cameron were there, they just had this big old party for him. He gave a speech, and after that, he was just asking Drew, would it be like if he did die and stuff like that? And Drew didn't want to think about it because it wasn't going to happen. So it wasn't no need to think on it. It was just a sad episode. Like, it was very emotional. Like, it just tugs at you. And, he was talking to Cameron and stuff like that. And they were all planning for the future. And he just kept seeing Lila and Edward. Now he's seeing Edward. Lila and Edward were basically in the background sitting around and stuff like that. And that's when he basically told Jocelyn he had to go home. That's when I knew automatically it was a dream. Once he said, I got to go home, I knew what he meant by go home. He got to go to the upper room. The upper room. He got to go to the upper room. That's what he meant by go home. As soon as he said that, I said, oh, Lord. I was hoping for some sort of miracle for this boy. Listen, I know a lot of people didn't care for the Oscar character. I know that, but he grew on me. Like, in the beginning, I didn't care, but over time, he just really grew. And I felt like he has a lot to offer this show, whether people believe it or not. But this is just my opinion. I feel like he still has a lot of life. The character has life left in him. Some longevity to him. Not just because he's a Quartermain, but I feel a lot of storyline potential with him. But I understand the reason they kind of wanted to tell this story. You know what I'm saying? Because it shows people that, kids do go through this, and a lot of times there is no cure. A lot of times there is no miracle, so I am appreciative that they told this story the way that they did. Even though a lot of people were hoping for a happy ending, we're not going to get it on this one. And I totally understand why they wrote it the way they wrote it. You know what I mean? Because not everybody who gets cancer gets a happy ending. And that's why I just have to say it, you know, like what everybody else say, hashtag fuck cancer, you know, because it's real, you know. And, you know, you go on Instagram and you see people posting about their mom or their dad or their sibling or cousin having cancer, and they just slowly see them fading away. You know, we all have somebody probably in our life who went through cancer at one point or another. I had two grandparents who went through cancer. You know, my grandmother had it many years ago, probably maybe back in 2004, maybe 2003. She had it, and, you know, she beat it, and she's still here today, thank God. And, you know, a few years ago, my grandfather had it, but he wasn't so lucky, and he passed away a few years back because of cancer. So, you know, it's a case of, like I said, you get a happy ending and sometimes you don't. You know, my grandmother got a happy ending. You know, she beat it and she's still here. My grandfather, he didn't get his happy ending. But the thing I take away from that is that my granddad, you know, he lived a long life. You know, he was in his 70s. He lived a very long life. He accomplished a lot in his life. You know, so I take that, you know, away. Like, at least he's happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he's happy. He's in a better place, and I take solace in that. You know, but like I said, we all have had someone to go through this, and, you know, you pray for a miracle. You pray that they're going to beat it. And you just keep that in mind, you know, just stay prayed up. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's not a total loss. Because you take solace in knowing that they were here for a while and, you know, they had their purpose. And even though they didn't fulfill all of their purpose, but at least you're here to help fulfill that. You know what I mean? And that's what I love, because even though Oscar's, you know, gone now, he still has family here that can help fulfill that purpose, you know, that can help do things that he didn't get a chance to do. You know, they can do those things, you know, in honor of him. You know, in a way. It was just, man, this episode really tugged at me, man. It's hard to even talk about this episode right now, like it really is. And I know some people gonna come in the comments, oh, it's just a TV show. It's a TV show, but it's real in a way, because they're touching on real life situations. And I like the way that they're telling it. You know, and I couldn't imagine being Kim and Drew right now. I couldn't imagine being Monica. You know, when I seen Monica standing in the Quartermaine crypt, you know, and, you know, Ned was there and they were talking about, you know, the Quartermaines that have passed and how all of them are in heaven or, you know, wherever they are, and they're, you know, helping each other. You know, they're being there for each other, watching each other's back. And, you know, she took solace in the fact that when it's her time to go, she's going to be with her family again. You know, and I had recently thought about that, too, you know, because I lost a lot of relatives and stuff, too. So, you know, I take solace in that, too. And knowing that one day when it is my time, I'll be seeing them again. You know, we're definitely going to see our loved ones again. Don't think just because we're never going to see them again on Earth. Trust me, in the afterlife, you will see them again. Best believe. And y'all get to laugh and talk about old times, and they get to tell you about yourself and the stuff that you were doing when they were gone and you were still on Earth, and stuff that you did that they didn't appreciate, because, you know, they watching you. You know that. So y'all get to, you know, talk about some stuff when you get up there. And even though, you know, you might have a relative that passed and you didn't make amends with them, you can handle that on the other side, you know, the afterlife. You know, that's what that's for, you know. You get to go up there, and it's a lot of people I can't wait to see again and to meet, because, you know, when it's my time, I can't wait to meet a lot of celebs that went, because I got a lot of questions. Yeah, so, you know, it was crazy because Oscar kind of had this vision of what life would be like after he's gone, and he looked out Charlie's window and he saw Sonny and Carly with their baby, and he saw Kim and Jocelyn and Trina graduating high school. Monica, Ned, and Olivia were planning a trip to Hawaii, and his mother was engaged to Julian, and, you know, just seeing how life was moving forward without him. You know, that was a crazy thing to see, and I enjoyed it. You know, I think that they masterfully did that. This whole episode to me was well put together. It was very well scripted. It was well put together. The visuals, everything was so well done. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So kudos to the writers for doing this the way that they did it. It was just sad, seeing Oscar in the bed and stuff, and you saw, his spirit come out of his body. And what people don't understand, some people may not understand this, is that really does, I believe, happen in real life when you pass away. Your spirit leaves the body. You know what I'm saying? Like you are no longer here. In the physical sense, you're no longer here. In a spiritual sense, you're here, but your spirit leaves the body once you're officially gone. And that's what happened with Oscar. His spirit left his body, and kissed Jocelyn on the cheek and told her he loved her, and he was ushered into heaven by his great grandparents. And I think that was a beautiful scene, watching Edward and Lila take their great grandson to heaven to see his other relatives and stuff, and to cross over. And I think it was just beautiful. I felt bad for Olivia too, because she was sitting here looking at the old family album and stuff, just crying. A lot of their lives have been touched because of what's been going on with Oscar these last few months. He touched a lot of lives in the short time that a lot of them have known him. He's touched their lives in some form or fashion. And once he passed, you notice that Kim instantly knew, because she just basically jumped up and asked Drew, like, did you feel that? She just knew her son was gone when she jumped up. She knew, she just had that instinct. Like, she knew he was gone. But going back to the Quartermaine crypt, Monica was basically saying goodbye to everybody, saying goodnight to AJ and Alan. And it was funny how she called Edward a grumpy old man. And, she said a sweet happy birthday to Lila, whose birthday was on April 29th. That was just a touching scene. That was beautiful. This whole episode was just beautifully done. It just touched me, because it made me start thinking about just people that I've lost over the years and stuff like that. And it just really it puts life in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really does. Death has, there's no age, race, nothing. When death is coming for you, it doesn't, death don't care how old you are. It don't care what skin color you are. It doesn't care about nothing. It's just coming. You don't know when, you don't know how. You just got to live your best life, for however long you have. That's just what it is. So, like I said, shout outs to everybody, not even just the writers and the crew, but let me just shout out to the actors and the actresses. They did a phenomenal job with this. Eden McCoy, no wonder she's being nominated. Just everybody. They've done such a superb job with this. Garen Lake, who plays Oscar, he's done an amazing job with this material. He's a talented young actor, and I hope to see him on a lot more projects, because he's very talented. I hope to see him in a lot of movies in prime time, because, he has the acting chops. He's very talented. So yeah, hit the comments section. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I'll see you all later. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. See you later. Peace.